obviously cleared her, or else she wouldn't be out there.
Right.
But, status for tomorrow.
Not playing tomorrow, may not play on Sunday. We'll see. Just trying to get her back into basketball stuff too. Protecting her foot and her lungs and heart and everything else from being out. So, but is good to start doing things each day. So.
Is she still on a schedule where she'll have mixed in off games still?
Kind of waiting to see on the games right now since she's been off a little bit, but certainly we've tried to keep the minutes down into the low 20s. That's the first limit. And then we're going to see where we are. Right now, after, when she comes back, the games will be spread out a little bit. Then once we get into June a little farther, it's like every other day. So we may pick a game here and there to say it's off, but we haven't picked the dates yet. We've picked most of Elena's for the next few weeks, but not hers.
That was going to be my next question about it.
Yeah.
Decision on Elena for the next few weeks.
Right now, Elena is going to play as of now, unless things, change just because of the wear and tear. But, she's going to play tomorrow. She's going to play Sunday. She's going to play Wednesday, and then probably not go to Minnesota, and then be ready for that Phoenix games at home, and then see where we are for New York. We know on our West Coast trip, she's not going to play in LA, and she's going to play in Seattle and Vegas unless things change. So.
Just one more thing. Obviously Elizabeth just had a great game. Shakira had been playing great and worked herself into the lineup. This is obviously a good problem to have, but how do you start to balance that and figure out how?
I don't have an easy answer for that. I mean, here we are, you even have another situation. You have Tiana Hawkins, who had a really good game in Connecticut. And, the other night I made the choice to not play her just because it's too hard to play that many people. We have duplications it's going to be great on the nights, that Elena sits out or whatever, but it's hard. And I, sat down with her and just said, be patient. Everybody's going to have their turn, but it's the same thing with Elizabeth and Shakira. Right now, we've had a good rhythm starting Shakira, and we'll just see how the game goes. I mean, we're playing a game, tomorrow night where they have a good post player coming off the bench too in Hanju. So, we're going to need all of them. Sometimes maybe the rotations will be different in the second half than in the first half. And by how the game's going, what group is playing well together. That's just, that's one of those decisions we make kind of a little bit on the fly too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. I mean, it's, easier said than done, and all players say they want to do it, for the good of the team, but it's hard. I mean, I feel for what Tiana, sitting there cheering like crazy the other night, but she's coming off a pretty good game. Yet I put Maisha in, and Maisha probably had one of her best games of the season the other night. So it's a nice problem to have as an organization and team, but it's a tough one for players and coaches to figure out as you go.
Right now you're 7-3, 10 games in. How would you rate the season so far?
I mean, if you had told me before we started that we could be 7-3 right now, we probably would have signed up for it. Given all the in and out of the lineup and people coming late and, all of those things that, 7-3 is a good place to be. Would I like to be better? Sure. But if we could do that every 10 games, that would be really nice.
Speaking of earlier today, just practice, how did practice go?
Practice was good. I mean, they came back a little bit refreshed from not having to get on the court yesterday. And, most of them got massages or treatments yesterday and get their bodies back and get some sleep. And so, we had a really good practice today.
Jen?
Hey, Coach. Picking up on your comment about Maisha and her game the other night, when you said that was one of her best games of the season, is that primarily her rebounding, or what did you like so much?
No, it was everything. I mean, she made good decisions with the basketball. She had assists. Defensively, she was good. I mean, she took a big charge at a time when we were making our run that helped our momentum keep going. Knocked down a couple shots. I just felt at both ends of the court overall, it was just a really solid game.
And then, you mentioned the other night that eventually you're hoping that Alina will get to a place where she can play every game. Do you
I
have any-
didn't, no, I didn't say every game. I said we could be a lot more regular.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
No, I don't know. I don't know what every game looks like right now. I mean, I just think we're going to be in a situation where we're going to have, even near the end of the season, as you're preparing for the playoffs, give her a chance to, rest if it's needed too. So, but I think that we're getting in, before it was 2 games a week. Now, we're looking at a situation where possibly, she could play 3 games in a week, depending on, the spacing of it. And so it's just, we're trying to look at the schedule and be, practical about it.
Got
But
it.
we're not also going to lock ourselves in too. If we get to a point where she's played several games in a row and is scheduled to play the next one, and we say, hey, you know what? It would be better for us to sit her, then that's what we'll do.
Got it. And then last thing for me, just curious how similar or different you feel like Shatori's role is this year compared to that 2019 team.
Well, she's playing more minutes for one thing. I think that's part of it. I think she's averaging, I don't know, 17 to 19 minutes right now. That year was, some games she'd play and some games she wouldn't, depending on, she obviously played more that season when Christy Tolliver was out. And so I think, right now, she's, everybody can see she's, kind of snake bit right now about her shooting. She's had shots go halfway down and not go in. But I told her, this morning, I'm happy because she's stayed consistent about her defense. She's come up with steals and rebounds. She had a huge rebound in the game the other night down the stretch, in a crowd that, that we needed that. We needed our guards to rebound. And so, it's not just based on, stats of shots being made or whatever. It's hard to compare because she's a much more mature player than she was back in 2019. And, we're asking a lot more of her right now, as far as her maturity and her, what she does on the court.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
We'll go to Patrick.
Hey, Coach, wanted to ask you, I guess on a personal question, you recently coached your 300th game for the Mystics. Just wanted to kind of ask you about that, just kind of adding to the
It
accomplishment.
just means I'm old. That's all.
Huh?
It means I've lasted 10 years at 2 different places. I don't really think about, I didn't even know that actually until somebody told me about it. I haven't really thought about it. I mean, when you go back as old as I am, between assistant coaching and head coaching, I think I figured out I've coached in over 2,000 games. So that 300 number wasn't really jumping out at me with flashing lights.
Is there a game? I kind of asked your son about this recently, but outside of the championship, of course, and that year, is there a game that maybe stands out to you? Just special moment, importance, anything like that?
Here in DC?
Yeah.
I would say maybe my first year here, when we were coming off that 5-29 and the day we clinched the playoff spot. I think that was a big game because, I came in, selling a way to do things to a group of players who hadn't had a lot of success, and they bought in. And so when we clinched the playoff spot, I think that was, kind of a big moment here. It's funny. One of the bigger moments that's had an impact in our organization was actually a loss. And that was losing in the finals, the last game in 2018 to Seattle. And that sting that went with that for our players, I think that kind of drove our off season. And so, the game itself wasn't real memorable. I mean, we got our butt handed to us, but I think that the feeling that game left with our players will be remembered by a lot of them that came back the next year, because it motivated us to be better than we had been. And so I think that was a milestone game for us to have gotten to the finals, but not won.
All right. Thanks a lot.
You bet.
And we got time for one more question. We'll take it from Christos.
Hello, Coach. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
Great. My question is about Ariel Atkins and her leadership into the team. What stands out to you about this season's leadership of Ariel, and what is the most important part for the whole team? How she raised the level of the game overall?
Well, I think we've seen every year her get better in several phases of the game. I mean, even in college, she was a very efficient player, but much more responsibility has been placed on her each year, and she's handled that. The fact that she has, kept a consistency about her defensive effort while improving her offense. Each year her scoring average has gone up a little bit. She's shooting at a very high level right now. Making threes, making twos, making free throws, all of that. Her assists are up, I believe. She's just a good all-around player. And I think that when you have multiple players like that on your team who are going to be consistent in their effort and their demeanor every day, I think that's a calming influence for, a team. Her teammates know they can rely on her.
Thank you very much, Coach.
You bet.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thanks.
No, you good.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, good. Just curious, how are you feeling lately? Like we were just talking to Mike a little bit. I know shots haven't been falling out
Right.
like the clip you've wanted,
For sure.
but you've also done a lot of other things.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just curious, how you're feeling about your game
Yeah.
overall.
Obviously, perfect world, I want the ball to go in. But I feel like that's the beauty of basketball. You can impact it in so many different ways. And that was kind of like what I wanted to do coming in. Just my word for myself was aggression. And not necessarily just on offense, but on defense as well. Just being disruptive, and just like being able to bring energy off the bench.
Is that has that been easy? You're I know you're a shooter.
Uh-huh.
So has that been easy to kind of stay in that positive mindset when you're affecting the game in other ways?
Yeah, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, if you asked me that, I would say no. Now, yes. Just because I have like great teammates around me that give me confidence, a great coaching staff that's always giving me confidence. Coach is telling me to keep shooting. I'm just like, you sure? But no, he's just always giving me confidence. Tosh is always, Tori, I'm coming to you next time. Ariel telling me to keep shooting, stay ready. So that when you have people like that in your ear, it makes it easy.
And the last one for me, I just want to ask about that second group
Mm-hmm.
as a whole. You
Mhm.
you guys keep coming in and
Mhm.
impacting the game in such positive ways. And even when the first unit is struggling a little bit, I guess what is working so well for that second group to kind of come in and give you guys a lift, even when things, are kind of herky-jerky.
Yeah. I know for us, like we pride ourselves on being the best bench in the league. And we just know that we have to bring energy, whether or not like whatever the first group is doing. And for us, we kind of are able to like kind of sit back, and when the game starts, we can see what the game needs from us. Whether if the team is beating us on the boards, hey guys, we look down at each other, we got to go in and rebound. Okay, they're running their offense too smooth. We got to be a little bit disruptive, push the passes out. Look, we can get out and run. So we're talking to each other on the bench as the game is going. So just that communication before we go out is big for us, and just going in and executing that and bringing energy. Thank you.
7-3 right now. What does that mean to you at this moment, 10 games in? Just speak on that.
Yeah, it's big, just continue to take one game at a time, continue to build on the previous game, getting better. Rosters or lineups have been looking different each game, but we can't hang our hat on that. Just being able to come out, like I said, get better each day, we don't have much practices, but taking practices like this today and gaining that chemistry, not just on the offensive end, but on the defensive end as well.
And then for you, can you take me maybe to a play or a sequence, personally for you, in this 10-game stretch that you really like, personally from Gideon? For me,
just being able to, I know for me, like, obviously, like I said, my shots will fall, but just being able to be disruptive on the defensive end and getting easy baskets, especially not just for me, but for our whole group. Because when you get easy baskets, then I feel like the floor will open up for us. And We're I feel like in the past we've kind of took pride more so in our offensive game. Just kind of like not just outscoring people, but that was kind of like our bread and butter. But I feel like this year we're taking an initiative to be really good on defense because we still have that same offensive talent. But we're also can be really good on defense as well.
I'll go ask you some follow-up. It's funny, but the defense you have, it keeps you in games.
Yeah.
So even if you have maybe an off shooting night or just the defense is
For
being
sure.
so disruptive. So what does that do for your confidence?
Yeah.
You know, like we end this any night.
No, yeah, I love it. I know for me, I go in, I'm excited knowing that for me, I can be very aggressive on the perimeter, knowing I got Shakira behind me playing volleyball, Elizabeth behind me playing volleyball with these shots. So, I mean, I'm just for me, I just love it knowing that I got that behind me. Tosh is talking to me, Ariel's talking to me. I mean, the way Elizabeth was just like beating up shots last year, I was just like, gee, there was times I was like just ducking, like, let me just get out your way. But I mean, we can be a really, and that's, we just send layers, like we just keep sending layers. And it's exciting. It's coming together.
Your growth from 2019 time you were here, leaving, and now returning.
Yeah.
What has changed for you to realize that you can impact the game in other ways, even when your shot is not falling?
Yeah.
And what was kind of that moment that you realized in this growth period that I can still impact the game in other areas?
Yeah.
And be a serviceable player, like having minutes like you are.
Yeah. Just having these talks with coach and also just these talks with my teammates as well. Like I said, when your teammates are just not just saying it just to say it, but like genuinely like Tosh is telling me like, I'm going to keep looking for you, Tori. Ariel's like, yo, look up, next pass right to you, or next shot's going in. Della Don's like, come up there looking. And so when you have like that constant reminder, that constant reassurance, I feel like I have no choice but to be confident. And I feel like it's just been a growing and a learning process for me. Because for me, I feel like coming out of college and I was just always been looked at as a scorer, but then I've been able to add some things to be more versatile and impact the game. And coaches brought that, to my attention as well. Just the film sessions that I've had with him, not just Mike, but Eric as well. So just being able to expand that and add things to my bag defensively, and have good defensive players around me. Like we add Alicia Clark and Tosh, as good as they are defensively, I like to pick their brain and always learn from them as well.
I have one quick follow-up before we go to the you mentioned, the switching up of the lineups, and I'm curious, what's the balance between that being really tough because, on a night-to-night basis, someone's gone and you got to get used to playing with someone else, versus maybe the benefit of getting used to that. So when that happens, maybe in a crucial spot, it won't throw you all out of whack. And
Right.
Learning how to play against with some folks that maybe you don't in normal time.
Yeah. And I feel like that the offense will come, but I feel like the fact that we hang our hats on our defense so much, defense you can bring regardless of who's out there. Not necessarily on, offense, the chemistry will come, but like I said, defensively, we have so many different waves and like we can bring that no matter who's out there. So if we can come in and be able to, make it really hard for the offense, regardless of who's out there, I feel like the offense will come, and no matter what the lineup is looking like, I feel like we'll be okay.
All right, Tori, we'll transition over to Zoom. We'll start with Jen.
Hey, Tori, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I got two quick questions for you. First of all, kind of building on what everyone was asking you about, kind of your role with the team. As you've grown in your game and are still, part of this Mystics bench mob, do you feel like you're in like a familiar role from 2019, or do you feel like you are in kind of a new role with what you've added to your game?
A little bit of both. I like to take my experience from coming off the bench, but with these lineup changes, I like to just approach each day with a new mindset of just being the same me, even though I kind of contradict myself in that statement. But just coming in and doing what I do and not switching up. And that's just me just bringing energy, being disruptive on the defensive end and just staying aggressive on offense as well.
And then, you talked about the bench unit as a whole and Elizabeth a little bit, but wanted to ask you in particular about Elizabeth and Kennedy as kind of the newest arrivals to the team, what you've kind of seen from them in the most recent games and what's fun about playing with them.
Oh my gosh. KB's versatility, like she can literally guard 1 through 4. And then obviously her scoring ability. And obviously on defense, I mean, she just came in and it was just like she's been here for years. Elizabeth, that rim protector, you don't find mobile bigs like that all the time. And just her communication as well makes it makes my job as a guard easy. If I get clipped on the screen, I'm like, okay, I'm fine, because if you want to go in on Elizabeth, that's fine. So it's a blast playing with both of them. I'm super happy that they're here.
Awesome, thank you.
And we'll go to Tyler.
Hey, Shatori, I hope all is well.
Appreciate it.
I have a question about Tosh. This season, she's talked a lot about and priding her game on being more of a shooter and being able to take more shots. I'm curious, what does the offense look like for you on the floor with her having the confidence to take those more shots and be adding a different element to her game?
Yeah, to me, I always thought, Tosh was a shooter, even though some people didn't treat her like that, because for me, I always see her working on her jump shot. That's something that she's always worked on. But for me, she's probably my favorite point guard that I've probably ever played with. Just the confidence that she gives me and our team. You can really feel her presence on the court. And when during her time, yes, we won games without her this year, but her presence is definitely missed when she's not there. She just brings such a great energy. Like I said, she's one of my favorite players to play with. And I don't just say that because I'm talking to you. I literally tell her behind, she's from not being here and then going to other teams and things, I've just never been more confident and comfortable with another point guard. I'm super happy to have her as my point guard for sure.
And I want to ask about the Commissioner's Cup. I know last season you came on kind of late. Is the Commissioner's Cup anything that's in the back of your head? Is that something you guys are talking about at all? I know there's a big bonus waiting for
Absolutely. Yeah. We definitely talk about that a lot. We let each other know that, hey, this is a Commissioner's Cup game. We can't go out here and play. But yeah, we do take that mindset to each game, but we have a little bit more motivation, I'll say, for the Commissioner's Cup games.
Awesome. Thank you, Shatori.
No problem.
All right, Tori, you were all set. Thank you very much.
Hey, you guys have a good one.
How is I know Thibault is asking you to shoot those open jumpers. How's the confidence coming with those jump shots?
コーチ T さんずっとシュートを打てって言ってますけど、今こうやって打ってっていて、自信だったりというのどういうとこから来るのだったりとか、今打ってみてのなんていうんですかね、印象みたいなのを教えてください。
そうですね。まだ確率としては良くないとは思うんですけど、チームメイトもコーチもシュート打ってほしいってことを言ってくれるので、今までよりも積極的にシュートを意識したりとかが自分の中で打ちやすい環境、打ちやすい雰囲気でやってくれてるなっていうのは思うので、それに応えられるように自分もやっていきたいなと思ってます。
My shooting percentage has not been good, but everybody been telling me shoot the ball almost every day. So in the game, trying to make make me shoot really well in the game. So and then trying to make the rhythm and tempo, and then trying to answer those questions and those stuff. And just everybody been telling me shoot the ball. So that's what I'm been focusing on, and shoot the ball really well these days. So
we're 10 games in now. I'm completely comfortable. And are there still parts of this game that you're still getting used to, or does it feel normal now?
今10試合やってみて、今そのプレーが自信ついてきたのか、 それともまだまだ、はい、まだやることがあるのかっていうのを教えていただきたいです。
まだまだやることがあると思ってます。
So far there's a lot of things to do, still need to work on.
What's the biggest thing still to work on?
今一番最大のそのやるべきことなんだと思いますか？
一番最大。まあ、さっきも言ったんですけど、そのシュートのところは意識しなきゃいけないなっていうのは思うし、やっぱり自分がゲームに出たときは、アップテンポな展開にもっと持っていけるように、意識して、やりたいなとは思ってます。
Like I said earlier, you need to focus on shooting ability and shoot the ball more. So also when I'm on the court, trying to make the offense flow really well and trying to like bring the, push the ball and then trying to bring the offense more aggressive and then push the ball really well. So thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
こんにちは。
Ashley ability has been so phenomenal. Just talk about that.
Yeah. 今その試合やっててすごい素晴らしいプレーをしていますねと。
ありがとうございます。Thank you.
Well, your teammates are always saying you found them in the right spots. When you just see the court, how is that just so easy for you?
今すごいいいプレーしてますけど、チームメイトも言ってて、すごいパスのところもどうやって今見つけたりとか、そういうパスとかもそうですけども、どういうふうに自分をいいプレーにしようと、相手に対してそういうパスだったりとか意識していますか？
今1ヶ月ぐらい一緒にみんなと練習や試合をやって、みんなの特徴だったりとか、そういうところをだいぶみんなの動きに自分が慣れてきたっていうのもあって、そこがどんどん合ってきたのかな、最初と比べてどんどん合ってきたのかなっていうのは、思ってるので、そうですね。これからはもっとそのパスの精度だったりとか質ってところをもっと上げていけるようにやっていきたいなと思っています。
It's been over a month since I came here and joined this team, and then I'm just been getting used to it and their play style and how they move. So I'm just trying to adjust to it still, but I need to get better at passing ability and quality of passing. That's what I need to focus on more. But yes.
You compared the game over Japan to the WNBA, which helped her transition from different leagues.
そう今日本のリーグから WNBA にトランジションしてるわけですけども、どのぐらい難しかったとか難しいなと感じているところは今ありますか？
こっちに来てってことですね。そのやっぱり高さだったりとか手の長さっていうところの慣れる必要があるのかなとは思うんですけど、あとはやっぱりその言葉のところがやっぱり一番難しいところではあるかなとは思うんですけど、分からなくてもみんながしっかり何ですか、コミュニケーション取ってくれようとしてくれたりとか、長い言葉じゃなくて短い言葉で分かりやすく伝えてくれたりするので、すごいありがたいなと思いながらやってます。
Like I said earlier in the season, I got to get used to their lengths and size and WNBA on all those players. And also language barrier is going to be one of the biggest problems. But thankfully, all those teammates and trying to talk to me in shorter phrases and shorter words, which are easy to understand. So really, trying to get used to those stuff.
All right, we'll transition over to Zoom. We'll take questions in English from Jen and Tyler. We'll start with Jen.
Hi, Rory. Hi, Mickey. Thank you for doing this for us. First thing, and obviously this is for Rui, but Mickey, if you have anything to add here, I'd welcome that too. Just curious, what the experience has been like, traveling for away games and being on the road in the US.
今こうやってやってみて、全部トラベルとか、そういうアウェイ試合とか、そういうの含めて経験っていう意味で、どんな感じの印象がありますか？どんな感じですか？そうでかいんです。でかいんですけど。はい。
アウェイを経験してみてってことね。やっぱり正直日本ではこういう移動がなかったりとか、こういう短い、なんていうんですか、1週間に何回も試合があるようなスケジュールではなかったので、やっぱりそこの調整だったりとか、やっぱアウェイに行った時のコンディション作りっていうのは結構難しいなとは感じてはいます。でもまだ時差のところでの3時間、最大3時間時差っていうのは聞いているので、やっぱそこの3時間の時にもっとどうやってどうなるかなっていうのはちょっと心配はしてるので、そこはうまく調整できればいいかなとは思ってます。
So in Japan, there's no away games, like I said earlier. So like taking the planes, I've never done this before. So in away games, it has been like struggling to, find a good place to eat and condition wise. And also I heard, there's a 3 hours difference in time difference in here in LA and West Coast. So I'm looking forward to get used to those stuff and time difference. And I think that's what I need to looking for and get used to that. So.
And then really early in the season, I asked Rui, how has it been playing with Tosh or what you've learned from Tosh? And you said basically not sure yet because of the language barrier. Curious if that's, if you've been able to talk with her or learn from her more since then.
ちょっと早いですけど、ナターシャとこうやってプレイしてみて、今学んでることだったりとか、ちょっとこの前聞いた時も、言語の壁あったんで、ちょっとわからないって言ったんですけど、今こうやってプレイ10試合してみて、どんな印象だったりとか学んでることはありますか？
いや、もう本当に学ぶところが多すぎるんですけど、本当にもう、チームのムードメーカーでもあって、ゲームコントロールの、仕方だったりとか、みんなへの声かけだったりとか、チームが流れが悪かったり、得点取れてないときに自ら自分で得点取って流れを掴んできたりとかっていうのをすごい見てるので、本当に、そういうところをもう自分もポイントガードとして学んでいけたらいいかなとは思いますし、自分は多分求められてることだったり役割っていうのは他者とは変わってくると思うんですけど、そこはすごい、他者に限らず本当にみんなのいいところ、すごいところを学んでいけるようにやっていきたいなと思ってます。
Of course, there are a lot of things I've learned from her so far. And then, as you guys know, she's such a good player in communicating. I'm just very I'm just very surprised how she talked to the players, and also she's able to score when the team can't score during the game. I think I need to learn from her more as a point guard. And obviously, I have a different role from her role. So, but not only her, Tasha, but also like everybody. I respect, every single teammate. So I need to learn from everybody in the teammate. That's what I'm focusing on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tyler?
Konnichiwa, Rui. Konnichiwa, Mickey. A quick question. What have you been able to do off the court? Have you been able to visit DC? What have you been able to do in your downtime when you're not playing basketball?
オフコートの過ごし方だったりはどんな感じですか？バスケをしてない時には、どういうところ、DC を散策したりとかはしましたか？
少しのオ オフの時は、なんだっけ、モニュメントを見に行ったりとか、近くのところを散歩したりとか、買い物行ったりっていうのはやってますし、こっちで初めて、言っていいのかな、スクーターって。うちで初めてスクーターにも乗って、すごい、こう、リフレッシュができました。
In off day, I was able to see the monument at National Mall, and also I was able to ride a scooter, if I could say it, but somebody told me it's a dangerous a little bit, but so I was able to ride a scooter to walk around the city and get to know the city. So that's what I did off day.
And one quick more. In the United States, sometimes we kind of call it a culture shock. Has there kind of been anything besides obviously a language barrier? Has there been anything that has maybe surprised you about living in the United States?
カルチャーショックとかはありますか？もちろんその言語の壁ありますけど、今来てみてカルチャーショックっていうのはありましたか？
カルチャーショック。そんなにない。
本当に
難しくなんて伝えたらいい？
To be honest, I don't think I have culture shock yet.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
文化とか慣れてきたっていう。
All right, guys, we're gonna transition over to Japanese now. We will start with Takashi.
こんにちは。月バス .com の柴田と申します。お世話になります。聞こえますか？大丈夫ですかね。
聞こえます。
はい、すみません。私の質問、すみません。2つあるんですけども、一つは、プレー面で、今、アシストが、ランキング見てみたら、リーグ全体で大体20位前後ぐらいのところの数字、1試合3本ぐらいの数字ですね。で、それからそれは、ルーキーの中では、1位っていうふうに自分が見た中ではなってまして、その数字を受けて、どんな手応えなのかということと、それから、そのアシストで特に目標としている数字っていうのは今、あるかどうかをまず教えてもらえますか？
特にアシストにすごいこだわってるとかっていうわけではないので、すごいそのアシストの数字を気にしてるとか、ここまで出したいっていう目標は特になくて、はい、ないです。
わかりました。あと、それから、オフコート、先ほどカルチャーショックのお話がありましたけども、ちょっとこの間、すごい大きな事件があったりとか、それからWNBA ではブリトニー・グライナー選手のロシアにとどまっているという件もありますし、そのバスケットボール以外のことについて、リーグだったり、プレイヤーだったり、いろいろな方が発言を積極的にされていると思うんですけれども、それもまた日本ではあんまりなかったことじゃないかなと思うんですが、どんな刺激を受けているのかということを教えてもらえますでしょうか。
確かに。自分たちは日本ではあんまりそういうことが起きたときに、このアスリートとしての発言っていうのはあまりしてこなかったと思うんですけど、やっぱりこっちでは逆にそれをうまく使うって言い方はよくないか。なんていうの、アスリートとしての発言を結構大事にしてるかなとは思うので、やっぱりそこの違いはすごいなって思いますし、もちろん多分影響力とかっていうのもあると思うんですけど、そうですね。先ほどの質問でカルチャーショックが受けてないか受けてるかってなった時に、そんなことないっていうよりは、それに慣れてきたっていう感じではあります。はい。
わかりました。ありがとうございます。頑張ってください。
ありがとうございます。
We'll go to Akiko.
すいません。Thank you very much. どうもお疲れ様です。はい。試合を重ねるごとに、結構マークが厳しくなっているというのは感じますか？例えば、相手チームからどういうところを一番やりにくくされているとかっていうものはありますでしょうか？
まあでも今のところそんなにこう自分に対してのこうディフェンスが強くなってるっていうよりは多分他の選手の方が得点も取りますし、中心選手が多いので、そこは自分はまだ感じてはないです。他の選手の方が多分すごい、マークされてる感じはあります。
あと課題がたくさんあるという話をされてましたけれども、課題がたくさんできるっていうのはもう挑戦しているからこそだと思うんですが、今ここでアメリカに来ていろんな課題が出てきている毎日というのは、選手としてかなり充実しているものですか？それとも結構大変なことなんでしょうか？
充実してるとは思います。本当に、毎練習、毎試合でいろんな課題があったりとか、していくので、本当に、いい経験にはなってると思います。
We'll go to Asami.
ありがとうございます。すみません。
朝日新聞の松本です。お疲れ様です。2週間ぐらい前のあたりは、少し、ターンオーバーのところが課題だったのかなと思うんですけれども、もしかしたら、渡米してからちょうど疲れが出る時期でもあったのかなと思うんですが、そのあたりはどのように感じていらっしゃいますか？
ターンオーバーに関しては、特に疲れが影響していたとかっていうわけではないと思います。
それは先ほどご自身がおっしゃっていた高さとか手の長さとかそういうところなのか、あるいはもう読まれてしまっているみたいなところなのか、その原因というか、どういうふうに感じていらっしゃいますか？
味方と合わせるタイミングだったりっていうのも、ちょっと迷っていたりとか、思い切りよくパスを出せてなかったところもあったと思いますし、もちろんその手の長さとか高さっていうのにも、まだ慣れきれてなかったところもあったのかなって思いますし、ほぼ毎試合トラベリング1回ぐらい取られてた感じだったので、やっぱそこはしっかり修正しないとなとは思ったので、やっぱそこは意識はしてやってます。
先日、週間ベストプレーなんかで、アシストのプレーが選出されたりしていますけれども、そういう自分の良さを出せているという実感みたいのも増えてはいますか？
そうですね。そうですね。自分がみんなに合わせるのももちろんそうなんですけど、自分もこういうタイミングで出しますっていうのもアピールが必要なのかなと思ったので、ターンオーバーしてでも、こういうパス出しますっていうのを味方に伝えるのも大事なのかなと思って、試合でもやったりとかしてるんですけど、全然みんなが本当にそれにすぐ反応してくれたりとか、合わせてくれたりするので、全然自分がもっと出したいタイミングで出してもいいのかなっていうのは思ってます。
ありがとうございます。頑張ってください。
Yoko?
こんにちは。よろしくお願いします。ちょっと今の話とも重なるんですけれども、シーズンの頭の頃に始まる前に、最初のうちは多少ミスしてでも、なんかいろんなことを試してみたいっていうふうに言ってて、実際、最初の頃はそう ターンオーバーも数も多かったりとか、そういったなんかミスもあったと思うんですけども、最近になってそのターンオーバーも減ってきて、そのフェーズとしてそう試すフェーズからもう少しこうチームの中でこうより完成度の高いプレーをしていくフェーズに入ってきたのかなと感じていたんですけど、そのあたりはいかがでしょうか。
まあでも本当に自分の中でそのシンプルにそのターンオーバーの数っていうのはすごい気になっていたので、そこは本当にこうチームとしてもターンオーバーが多くなってたっていうのもあったので、やっぱそこはしっかりこう直していかないとなっていうのは思ってたので、まあ、逆にそこがまあ、思いっきりよく出せてなかったりとか、こう迷いながら出してた部分が自分の中ではあったのかなと思うので、まあ、そこを、まあ、ちょっと変えて、まあ、思い切りよく自分のタイミングで出すっていうのを、まあ、心がけたのが良かったのかなとは思うんですけど、まあ、まだちょっと、ね、ここ何試合しかターンオーバーが少ないっていう試合がないので、これをもっと継続してやっていけるようにしたいと思ってます。
あと結構アシストの中でバウンズパスでのアシストが結構多いというか光ってたと思うんですけれども、バウンズパスの方が出しやすいっていう感じですか？その高さに引っかからないという面で。
そうですね。まあ、バウンドパスも、まあ、いろんなパスが大事なのかなと思うんですけど、そうですね。高さに対してはバウンドパスがいいとは思うんですけど、その受け手にもよったりとか、変わってくると思うので、そこは、何ですかね。絶対的にバウンドパスが絶対いいっていう感じではないのかなと思います。
わかりました。ありがとうございます。Thank you.
Mickey, can you read the name on the screen, the last one with her hand up?
はい、すいません。名前を日本語にしてしまって申し訳ございません。日本テレビの。
お願いします。
すいません。日本テレビの梅木と申します。よろしくお願いいたします。2つありまして、オフコートの話が先ほど出たと思うんですけれども、オフコートでチームメイトの方とどこかに行かれたりとかはされましたか？
まだしてないです。
そうなんですね。なんかマリシャ選手とこう、ハイタッチしてる映像を拝見させていただいたんですけど、コミュニケーション難しい中でこう距離を詰めるのに、町田選手として何か意識されていることはありますか？
意識してること。意識してることなんだろうな。でもまあ、自分からこうコミュニケーションを取りに行こうってなんていうんですか、思わなくてもっていうんですか、こう本当にチームメイトからこう声かけてくれたりとか、気遣ってくれたりしてるので、やっぱそこはすごい助かってますし、まあ分かんない時は笑顔にしてます後から聞くようにしてみたいな感じですけど、まあでも何を喋って何で笑ってるかっていうのは分かんなくても、その雰囲気が面白くて自分は笑ってしまうので、まあなんか、まあ、チームメイトからも何でも笑うみたいな感じで言われてるんでまあそれはまあなんかこっちに来てるからっていうよりは日本でもそういう感じではあったので、まあ自分らしくやればいいかなと思ってます。
ありがとうございます。もう一点、お食事についてで、なんかお食事面で困ったりとかしてたりとか、逆に合ってるなみたいなことってあったりしますか？
まあホームでやる際は一緒にサポートしてくれてる子が作ってくれているので全然問題ないんですけど、アウェイに行った時に本当に一人で行ってるので、こう向こうでのなんていうの、うまく日本食を 探したりとか、いつも試合前に食べてるようなご飯をこう探すのはちょっと大変かなとは思ってます。
ありがとうございます。頑張ってください。ありがとうございます。
Okay, Rui. Okay, Mickey. All set. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.